Good day, children. I hope you're all fine. I hope you're all happy. I'm Anupreet Kaur from the Chandigarh Education Department. Children, I would like you to take a deep breath. What is it that we are taking in? What are we breathing in? Oxygen. And which is the richest source of oxygen for us? Trees. Trees provide us oxygen, which helps us live. They are a source of life for us. And do you know, children, that trees themselves are living things? Can you tell me who was the first scientist to prove that trees are living things? Jagdish Chandra Bose. We in Indian civilization, we with our Indian culture have always valued trees. Trees have been worshipped for thousands of years in India. They're held in high esteem. We are thankful to them because they are a source of life for living creatures. And children, because they are living things themselves, they also feel pain. Do you know, children, that if you cut a tree, the tree feels the pain? And it is believed that if you play soothing music near the plants, they grow better, they grow healthier. So children, when we cut a tree or when we uproot it, it is very painful for the tree. Today we shall study the poem on Killing a Tree by Jeev Patel. This is from your NCERT textbook for class 9, Beehive. Children, Jeev Patel sensitizes us to the fact that trees are living things, that we must not kill trees. It is painful for them. And if we cut trees, we are actually making this planet a much more difficult place to live in. Children, the poet equates trees to human beings. Killing a tree is as bad as killing a human being. The trees undergoes the same kind of torture and pain that a human being would if the human being were being killed or murdered. So killing a tree is as bad as murdering a human being. Now let's learn a little about the poet and then we shall read the poem. Jeev Patel was born in 1940 in Mumbai. He is an Indian poet, playwright, painter and doctor. He is one of the writers who subscribes to the Green Movement, which is involved in an effort to protect the environment. He expresses deep concern for nature and exposes man's cruelty to it. On Killing a Tree. Children, let's recite the poem on Killing a Tree. You must have observed people cutting down trees, but can they kill a tree? Is it easy to do so? Let's find out what the poet says on killing a tree. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to a former size. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely out of the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed. The source white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Now, children, I would like you to recite this poem with me. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs which, if unchecked, will expand again to former size. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely out of the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source, white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Children, you must have observed people cutting trees. Do you think cutting a tree's branches kills it? Or even cutting its trunk? Will that kill the tree? No, it is not easy to kill a tree. Much more is involved in killing a tree. Jeev Patel has given the title of the poem as On Killing a Tree. He does not say cutting a tree or felling a tree. He uses the word killing. This feels as if he's talking about a human being, and he equates the killing of a tree with killing a human being, because a tree is also a living thing. He talks about the torture that the tree has to go through when it is being killed. He sensitizes us to the condition of the tree. He says, it takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. He says it's not easy to kill a tree. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to kill it. Just a single blow with a knife will not kill the tree. It will injure the tree, it will hurt the tree, but it will not kill it. So no matter how rough the sudden blow of the knife is, the tree will survive it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So he says this tree has grown slowly. It's taken a long time to grow. And how has it grown? By absorbing the earth, by feeding on the earth, by consuming the earth. It has grown out of it. It feeds upon the crust of the earth. And what is it that the tree needs to grow? The tree needs air, water, and sunlight. And with the help of the air, water, sunlight, and the soil of the earth, the tree grows big and thick over a period of several years. And out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves, the poet calls the bark around the trunk of the tree leprous hide. So hide is the bark of the tree, which is discolored. It looks like the patchy skin of a leper, the discolored skin of a leper. It has cracks and chaps. And through the hide, from out of the trunk of the tree, sprout leaves. Leaves grow from the trunk of the tree. Branches grow from the trunk of the tree. Children, can a simple jab of the knife kill a tree? No, it cannot. And why can't a simple jab of the knife kill it? Because the jab of the knife will only wound the tree. The tree will get a slash. Sap will flow out of it. But over a period, eventually, the wound will heal. The tree will be renewed. The tree will be cured. What are the things that a tree requires to grow? The tree needs air, water, sunlight, and soil to grow. These are the same very things that a human being needs to grow too. We need sunlight, air, and water, and we need the food which grows from the soil, which grows from the upper layer of the earth. How has the tree grown to its full size? The tree has grown to its full size by consuming the nutrients from the earth, by absorbing the sunlight, air, and water. What are the words suggestive of its life and activity? The words which are suggestive of its life and activity are consuming the earth, grown slowly, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, and water. All these words which suggest its life and activity equate it even more to the life of a human being. So, hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. The poet says, no matter how roughly you try and cut it by striking heavy blows upon the tree will not be killed. The tree will survive those hacks and chops, those rough, heavy blows. Not so much pain will do it. So human beings are giving it a lot of pain by hacking it, by chopping it, by jabbing it with knives, but still they will not be able to kill the tree. The bleeding bark will heal. What is the bleeding bark? The bleeding bark is the sap of the tree which comes out of the bark. Now, by using the word bleeding here near bark, again the poet has equated it to a human being. When a human being gets a cut, he starts bleeding. Just see, if ever you get hurt, you have an injury, don't you start bleeding? So similarly, he says that when the tree gets a cut, liquid flows out of it. Its juice flows out of it. And that is the sap of the tree. He says the sap will flow out, but it will heal, it will recover. Now, what makes the bark bleed? The slashes, the hacks, the chops, and the jabs of the knife. They make the bark bleed. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to form a size. So he says, even if the tree is cut till close to the ground, it will rise again. It will grow again. Green twigs, small little branches will come into being. From the chopped trunk of the tree, branches will sprout and grow. And given the time, unchecked, they will expand. And eventually, they will take the size of the original tree. The tree will grow it to its former size, to the size it earlier was. So, a tree can regrow even if you cut it or chop it. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. So he says just cutting a tree will not kill it. No, it won't. How will the tree be killed? By pulling out the roots. And where are the roots? They have to be pulled out from the anchoring earth. The poet uses the word anchoring for the earth because the earth provides a support to the roots. It grips the roots firmly The trees are held securely with the help of the roots in the earth, and the earth holds the tree with the help of the roots. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave. So now he says to kill the tree has to be tied to a rope and pulled out. It has to be snapped out, snapped, chopped out, broken, or pulled out with great force entirely, totally pulled out. And from where has it to be pulled out? Out from the earth cave. Now the poet has used the word earth cave. This represents that the earth is like a mother who is protecting the tree. A cave is a home for the tree where its roots are. The cave is like a womb where the tree grows. It is with the help of the roots that the tree gets its nourishment from the earth. This is a very ruthless and heart-wrenching situation when the tree is being pulled out. We can see the cruelty that man wreaks havoc upon the trees. We can see the gruesome nature with which the tree is pulled out and killed. There is a lot of violence involved in this. And the strength of the tree exposed. The roots are the strength of the tree. Those roots are exposed. The source, white and wet. So what do the roots look like? They look white and they look wet, because the roots were absorbing the moisture from the earth to feed the rest of the tree. Roots are the source of nourishment for the tree. The most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. So these roots are very sensitive and they have been hidden inside the earth for a long, long time, for several years. Children, this seems like an invasion of their privacy. This is the exploitation of the tree, the way its roots, which valued their privacy, which wanted to remain hidden inside the earth, they have been pulled out. They have been dragged out and exposed. This seems like torture being inflicted upon the tree, and it is equated with the torture which is inflicted upon human beings. Here we feel as if whatever is happening to the tree is actually happening to a person. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air. Children, this is the process of drying up of the tree after it is uprooted, after it is detached from the earth. So the tree is left out in the sun, has to bear the burning heat of the sun, and it chokes. It turns brown and hard. The roots of the tree were soft and tender, white and wet, and now they have become dry and hard. The white color has turned brown. They are twisting and withering. You can actually feel that they are undergoing a lot of pain. It seems very cruel to be doing this to the tree by pulling out its roots and making them just lie out in the ground, because we can actually see them dying. They're twisting. Like, have you ever seen a fish if it is pulled out of water? The way it just jumps and twists. Similar is the condition of the tree here. The tree is twisting with pain and it is withering, it is dying for the lack of nourishment. So this is extreme torture that the tree undergoes. And after all this inhumane torture, the tree dies, and then it is done. What is done? The killing of the tree, the murder of the tree. It is very ironic that we are taking such pains to kill the tree. Rather making all this effort to kill the tree, we should have taken an effort, we should have made an effort to create greenery, to plant more trees. So all these efforts which have gone into the destruction of the trees should have gone into the creation of a better environment. What is the meaning of bleeding bark? What makes it bleed? Bleeding bark refers to the sap which flows out of the tree's bark when it is cut. The tree bleeds when it is cut with a knife or an axe or a saw. The poet says no in the beginning of the third stanza. What does he mean by this? No means that the tree will not die by cutting or chopping the trunk. Then how will the tree die? By uprooting, by pulling out its roots. What is the meaning of anchoring earth? Anchoring earth means that the earth supports the tree firmly. What is the meaning of earth cave? Earth cave refers to the pit in the earth where the roots of the tree bind it firmly to the earth. What is meant by the strength of the tree exposed? The roots are the strength of the tree. So when the tree is uprooted, its roots are exposed. Thus, we say that the strength of the tree is exposed because these roots are no longer hidden in the earth. Now let's discuss the poetic devices of the poem on killing a tree. It has no rhyme scheme. It is written in free verse. There is no pattern of rhythm as such. The second poetic device used here is enjambment. When a sentence continues into the next line without any punctuation at the end of a line, it is called enjambment. An example of it is in the second line of the poem, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. So the second line flows into the third line without any kind of a punctuation. Again we see in the third line, it has grown slowly consuming the earth. Now there is no punctuation at the end of the third line, it just flows on to the fourth line without any kind of punctuation. So these are both examples of enjambment. I would like you to figure out what all are the other examples of enjambment in the poem. There are a lot of those, by the way. Metaphor is used here in the poem by the poet when two very different things are being compared. When the qualities of one thing are assigned to another which is actually very different from it. We call it a metaphor. An example is the bark of the tree is called leprous hide. Leprous hide meaning the skin of a leper. So it is not written that the bark of the tree is like the skin of the leopard. It is called leprous hide. That is why it is a metaphor. Another example of a metaphor is the sap is called the bleeding bark. This is in stanza 2. Another poetic device used by the poet is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of a consonant sound in a sentence in words close to each other. An example of this in stanza 2 is bleeding bark. This is the repetition of the b sound. And in the third stanza, we have an example, white and wet. This is the repetition of the w sound. Repetition of a word has been used in stanza 4. The words pulled out are repeated several times in the fourth stanza. Children, let's have a quiz now. I will ask you a question and give you 4 choices. You give me the correct option as an answer. The poem on killing a tree is written by Jeev Patel, Rabindranath Tagore, Kamla Das, Wordsworth.
The poem is written by Jeev Patel.
Good. To grow, a tree needs air, water, sunlight, or all of the above.
All of the above.
That's correct. The strength of the tree lies in its roots, leaves, fruit, branches.
Roots.
That's correct. The strength of the tree is exposed conveys that the roots are withered, the tree is withered, the roots of the tree are taken out of the earth, the trunk of the tree is split.
Roots of the tree are taken out of the earth.
That's correct. The message of the poem is cut the trees, trim the trees, scorch the trees, don't cut the trees.
The message is don't cut the trees.
Very good. Trees die when they are jabbed with a knife. They are uprooted. They are trimmed. They are not given manure.
They are uprooted.
That's right. So trees die when they are uprooted. The poet equates the killing of the tree with the killing of birds, animals, insects, human beings.
Human beings.
That is correct. The poetic device used in the words bleeding bark is metaphor, alliteration, imagery, all of the above.
All of the above.
That's correct. The poetic device used in the words white and wet is alliteration, metaphor, imagery, or all of the above.
Alliteration.
That's correct. Very well done, child. Children, I would like you to think and write. Write a paragraph on deforestation. Now, children, I would like you to enjoy a beautiful poem, Trees, by Joyce Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. I hope you've understood the poem, children, on killing a tree. We feel that we are killing a person. It is quite true. If we keep on killing trees, if we keep on with our deforestation, we will destroy human beings. We will destroy the ecological balance. All the creatures will have to suffer if we go on with our deforestation. With our growing population, a large area of forest is being cut to make place for agriculture, for urbanization. We do mining and we make dams, and for many other reasons. We forget that we desperately need these trees for their timber, for the home that they provide to our fellow living beings, rather that the trees themselves are our fellow living beings. Let us protect the trees. Let us do afforestation rather than deforestation. Now we come to the end of the lesson. We shall meet again with another lesson, another time. Till then, enjoy learning, stay happy, stay safe.